Hi dear students, today's question bank discussion is on Streptococcus pneumoniae. Let's go to our question. A 65-year-old man is hospitalized with community-acquired pneumonia. Blood and sputum cultures grew an alpha hemolytic, catalase negative, bile-soluble, optokin-sensitive organism as shown in the image. It showed an intermediate susceptibility to penicillin. What are the other important virulence factors of this organism? When you answer a case-based question in microbiology, you have to remember 3 steps. Step 1, identify the disease. Step 2, identify the causative organism. Step 3, apply the facts which you have learnt about the organism and answer the question. So before we answer this question, let us learn about some facts on Streptococcus pneumoniae. These are some key clues for identifying Streptococcus pneumoniae in any clinical question. It is a gram-positive capsulated diplococci, which is catalase negative, alpha hemolytic, bile-soluble, and optokin sensitive. Penicillin resistance is due to the altered penicillin binding protein. It's the most commonest cause of pneumonia, producing typical pneumonia with high-grade fever, productive cough, blood-tinged or rusty sputum. It is the most common cause of adult meningitis, with the CSF showing increased neutrophils, decreased glucose and increased protein. It's also the most common cause of otitis media and sinusitis. So when you have questions on Streptococcus pneumoniae, it will usually be based upon either pneumonia, meningitis, otitis media or sinusitis. So these are some image-based clues which will help you identify Streptococcus pneumoniae. The first picture is a gram stain showing gram-positive cocci in pair. The second picture is a blood agar showing you alpha hemolysis, which is nothing but greenish discoloration around the colonies. You also see a zone of clearance around the disc showing the organism is optokin sensitive. And the third image demonstrates the capsule by quelling reaction. Coming to the organism, it's a capsulated organism. Serotypes 3 and 7 produce large mucoid colonies. They grow only in enriched medium like blood agar and chocolate agar. And on prolonged incubation produce Rotzmann colony or Karen coin appearance. It also produces beta hemolysis in anaerobic condition. This is one condition where Streptococcus pneumoniae can produce beta hemolysis. And one sugar which you have to remember is inulin. It ferments inulin. Coming to the pathogenesis, the virulence factors associated with Streptococcus pneumoniae are polysaccharide capsule, which is the major virulence factor which protects the organism against phagocytosis. And the type 3 strain is the most virulent strain because it has a thick polysaccharide capsule. It also produces an IgA protease, the name tells you. IgA protease cleaves immunoglobulin A, thus destroying the local immunity and helping the bacteria to attain a hold in the respiratory epithelium. It also produces a teichoic acid which helps the virulence factors to attach. It also produces pneumolysin O. Here again the name tells you pneumolysin. Pneumo is respiratory, lysin is lysis or death. So this pneumolysin is a cytolysin or a membrane damaging toxin which damages the respiratory epithelium. It also inhibits the complement activation. Coming to the predisposing factors for pneumococcal infection, it is previous influenza or measles infection, COPD, CCF, alcoholism, and asplenia. So these are again some clinical clues in the question. Coming to the disease, which we already discussed, it can cause typical pneumonia with lobar consolidation, blood-tinged sputum, meningitis in adults, otitis media, and sinusitis. So coming to the laboratory diagnosis, you demonstrate the capsule by quelling reaction. You can demonstrate the capsular antigen by latex agglutination test in CSF and urinary antigen test. It also shows an elevated C-reactive protein, which are nothing but acute phase reactants against the C carbohydrate antigen. Coming to the treatment, the drug of choice is beta-lactam antibiotic, usually ceftriaxone or cefotaxime for adult meningitis. In the case of penicillin resistance, you add vancomycin to the therapy. In milder diseases like otitis media and sinusitis, you add amoxicillin, erythromycin in case of patients who are allergic to penicillin. Prevention, the main aspect in prevention is vaccination. You have two types of vaccine, pediatric vaccine and adult vaccine. The pediatric vaccine is a conjugate vaccine where the vaccine is conjugated with diphtheria toxoid for increased immunogenicity. It helps in preventing the invasive diseases. This vaccine has 13 serotypes. You also have the adult vaccine, which is the capsular vaccine containing 23 serotypes for adults and high-risk individuals. Now coming back to our question, step 1, yes, it is community-acquired pneumonia. Step 2, the etiological agents clue are alpha hemolytic, catalase negative, bile soluble, octopin sensitive. So this is Streptococcus pneumoniae. So step 3, the valence factor of this organism is capsule pneumolysine. Yes, virulent strains of Streptococcus pneumoniae produce thick polysaccharide capsule that provides protection against phagocytosis. Pneumolysine is a membrane damaging toxin with cytotoxic and complement activation property. The option B in this question is neuraminidase, which is an enveloped glycoprotein of influenza. Option C is endotoxin, which is virulence factor of gram-negative bacilli. Option D is tracheal cytotoxin, which is virulence factor of Bordetella pertussis. Coming to our questions based on pneumococci. This is question 1. A 70-year-old male with a history of alcoholism suddenly develops flu-like illness. He complains of fever with chill and had frequent productive cough with rust-colored sputum. The attending physician diagnosed bronchopneumonia and prescribed antibiotics, but regrettably the patient did not respond to therapy and died within a week. What is the most likely cause of patient's pneumonia? So let's go to our step 1. This is fever with chills, productive cough, rust-colored sputum. It's a case of pneumonia. Pneumonia with rust-colored or blood-tinged sputum is more likely to be Streptococcus pneumoniae. If you have a similar question of alcoholic productive cough with mucoid sputum or red currant jelly sputum, it is probably Klebsiella pneumoniae. If you are going to have low-grade fever with dry, non-productive cough, diffuse infiltrates, it is most likely to be Legionella, usually from a common source. Haemophilus influenza is usually seen in children pneumonia is seen in children less than 2 years of age and smokers. Our next question is, a 60-year-old male presented to the ER with high-grade fever, chest pain, cough with expectoration and increased respiratory rate. Sputum on gram stain showed pus cells, gram-positive cocci in pair. The organism grew in blood agar. Which of the following laboratory tests will help you to differentiate the specific pathogen from the other commensal gram-positive cocci? So our step 1, high-grade fever, chest pain, cough with expectoration, this pneumonia. Step 2, identify the organism. Now here, sputum microscopy is showing gram-positive cocci in pairs. The likelihood of gram-positive cocci in pairs is there both in commensal as well as in pathogen. The commensal presenting in pairs and chains is Streptococcus viridans. The pathogen presenting in pairs is Streptococcus pneumoniae. So now, applying our fact, the biochemical reaction for Streptococcus pneumoniae is bile solubility. So the answer to this question is, the laboratory test which differentiates Streptococcus viridans and Streptococcus pneumoniae is bile solubility. Option A, bezitracin sensitivity is for Streptococcus pyogenes. Catalase test differentiates streptococci from staphylococci. The coagulase test is used for speciation of staphylococcus. Our next question, a 12-year-old child presented with high-grade fever, productive cough, blood-tinged sputum and pleuritic chest pain of a few days duration. Chest X-ray showed homogeneous opacification of left lower lobe. CBC showed increased WBCs with neutrophilic predominance. Sputum sample showed gram-positive diplococci. Patient was started on parenteral penicillin therapy, but the patient did not respond to therapy and his condition worsened. The mechanism of development of penicillin resistant in this patient is, so coming to step 1, fever, productive cough, blood-tinged sputum, chest X-ray showing opacification with neutrophilic predominance, it is pneumonia. Sputum showing gram-positive diplococci, so it is probably Streptococcus pneumoniae. Step 3, applying our fact on the mechanism of penicillin resistance. The answer is production of altered penicillin binding protein. With this, we end our discussion on Streptococcus pneumoniae. Thank you all.